Hi everyone, Snipthany Sniptano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new CHVRCHES album, Screen Violence. This is the fourth full-length LP from electro and synth-pop trio CHVRCHES, kicking off this latest decade with a bit of an artistic bounce back that has a lot of fans excited. Truth be told, I have not been a huge CHVRCHES fan up until this point. While their debut brought a lot of potential and serious highlights to the table, the creativity and novelty behind their sound seemed to diminish as they dropped more projects, with 2018's Love Is Dead being their weakest showing yet. But Screen Violence sees the trio bringing it back to basics a little bit. The huge, dramatic, and anthemic synth-pop tunes are back, but maybe this time with more of a cinematic presentation. The music on this one is sounding more appropriate for the soundtrack to a coming-of-age film as opposed to, a mall dressing room speaker. There's even a slight rock edge to some of the heavier hooks on this project too, the results of which may be a bit more melodramatic and cloying, but at least this LP challenges you to feel something, which I just didn't really get that from Love Is Dead. The track list here offers the most highlights the band has brought to the table in a while, like Asking for a Friend, which is a stunning opener. The fact that Lauren Mayberry's voice still sounds so emotive and distinct, wrapped up in all these synths and effects, is a testament to her singing and delivery. The growing layers of beats, bass, and lead melodies in the first half are pulled off masterfully, and the track only gets better as we transition into full-on dance grooves from then on there. Violent Delights was also a highlight to my ears. Righteous tune and the crisp breakbeat propelling all of it was a refreshing change of pace. Then How Not to Drown with the great Robert Smith is undoubtedly a massive moment in the band's catalog too. And even before Robert enters the picture, it's a great track. The drum beat is huge, the pianos are so lush, and the chord progression is bittersweet. There's also something so incredibly urgent about Lauren singing on this cut too. It kind of reminds me of some classic Cranberry singles from back in the day. Smith's contribution to the track is of course fantastic. His voice mixes so well with Lauren's. Sure, the song does get needlessly spacey and drags out a bit too much around the bridge, but it's still an incredible track. And speaking of The Cure, Final Girl kind of sounds like something the band would have recorded back in the day, at least in terms of the song's goth rock adjacent intro. After that, it more or less sounds like your typical CHVRCHES song, but I do appreciate the trio bringing a bit more nuance instrumentally and vocally to this one. The very bright and shimmering guitars on the back end of the track are a great touch too. So look, there are some great single and standout tracks on this LP. I won't deny that. In fact, I expected it. But as far as the overall listening experience, there's not a whole lot that this record brings to the table, with it just being your standard 10-track affair with nearly every song trying to culminate as much hit potential as possible. Because of that, it sort of ends up being a one-dimensional listening experience, even with the closing track attempting a stripped-back number. Because across this LP, there are so many attempts at a reverb-drenched, high-gloss, synth-pop bop, most of which are scratching a similar emotional itch and doing so to varying degrees of success. Like, for example, the choruses on He Said, She Said are incredible, some of the biggest on the entire LP, but it would be an omission not to acknowledge how much the verses drag. Plus, the dialogue in the lyrics portrayed is a bit too reductive, even if it is reflective of unfair expectations Lauren may feel are being projected onto her, or maybe women in general. Then the song California, it's almost as if this one is blissfully unaware of how overdone this angle is, that we've heard such great things, it's an amazing place, we went there and then found out it's actually awful. Did we not just have that Wolf Alice album that was essentially, getting to the heart of the same issue? With that being said, I like the sound of this record a lot more, but CHVRCHES is far from an untapped narrative here. The Kill Your Idols commentary of Good Girls is a lot more timely and I think necessary, but Mayberry does arrive to a few somewhat awkward word choices, flow choices, melodic choices, trying to fit in every every single thing she wants to say in her lyrics. So again, while there are quality tracks on this LP I can easily pull out and highlight, that still doesn't change that the record overall is a bit too uniform and also formulaic, with even some tracks lacking imagination on the lyrical and the instrumental side. Feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Churches forever.